Our final honoree is a diplomat, an educator, a former soldier, an author, a man in the international spotlight. As his nation's single representative to the President, the Secretary of State, and the people of the United States, it is my great privilege to ask Life Trustee Stephen M. Parks, class of 1968, to present our honoree and commencement speaker.
President Gaffney, it is my personal pleasure and honor to present His Excellency Ambassador of Israel, Dr. Michael B. Oren, for the degree of Doctor of Laws, honoris causa. Ambassador Michael B. Oren, statesman, diplomat, scholar, historian, acclaimed author, and political commentator. As one who was born and raised and educated in the United States, you are in a unique position as Ambassador of Israel to foster a greater understanding of the complexities of Middle East geopolitics and to seek honorable solutions to long-standing problems. Your prodigious and prestigious scholarly works in the form of books, articles, and essays on the Middle Eastern history have earned you international recognition. In addition to having served as visiting professor at both Harvard and Yale universities, President George W. Bush, in May 2008, appointed you to serve on the honorary delegation to accompany him to celebrate the 60th anniversary of the founding of the State of Israel. Since being appointed as Ambassador of Israel to the United States in May of 2009 by Prime Minister Netanyahu, you have your scholarly pursuits to bring understanding to complex international and Middle Eastern issues, for your determination to serve honorably in the cause of security and peace, and for shouldering the weight of that responsibility with grace and dignity. We are privileged to honor you today.
Michael B. Oren, by virtue of the authority vested in me by the Board of Trustees in the State of New Jersey, I now confer upon you the degree Doctor of Laws, honoris causa, with all the rights and privileges pertaining thereto, and I request that you deliver our commencement address.
Thank you all. Thank you. Thank you, Stephen Parks, for those very warm and short introductory remarks. Thank you. Kept it short. Thank you, President Gaffney and your wife, Linda, for hosting my wife, Sally, and I so graciously here at Monmouth. Thank you also to Chairman Sculthorpe and the Board of Trustees for honoring me today, and to my co-honoree, Harry Pozinski. I'm privileged to be sharing this stage with you today, sir. Quite an honor for me. And most of all, for your diligence, for your hard work, for keeping to the goal of getting to this impressive milestone. To each and every one of you, congratulations, Monmouth University class of 2012. And thank you for opening your lovely campus to a former New Jersey boy, exit 145, and proud of it. Now, whether they are delivered by former astronauts, football quarterbacks, or Israeli ambassadors, commencement speeches are invariably about the future. They're about hope. They're about optimism. And yes, as you heard from Samantha, they're about fulfilling your dreams. And I got to be honest with you, though there have been some improvements in the American economy, delivering such a rosy speech today is difficult. These have been hard times for Americans and for peoples around the world. It's a hard time to be graduating from college. I don't have to tell you, there are jobs out there that are scarce. People are working longer hours and making less. And for the first time in this nation's memory, we can no longer assume that young people will either earn more or have a higher standard than their parents enjoyed. And in such a trying environment, it would be frivolous of me, and I think even disrespectful of you, to urge you to simply go out and follow your dreams. Your dreams, make sure of it, should never be abandoned, but they may have to be, for a while, delayed. I know about that. Starting at age 15, growing up not far from here, I had one dream. I wanted to be Israel's ambassador to the United States of America, and it only took me 40 years to get there. It won't take you that long. Stick to it. But if I've learned anything in life, it's that if you're focused, if you're willing to put in that hard work, you will attain your goals. What then can the commencement speaker to the class of 2012, what sage advice can he impart, and what hopeful vision of the future? Now, as you heard from Steve Parks, I came to this job after many years working as an historian, and I can't help myself quite naturally. Whenever I have to talk about the future, I have to first start looking back at the past. And looking backward, as it were, I can think of another time in history when college graduates faced slimmed opportunities and dreams seemed exceedingly remote. 80 years ago, America was at the height of the Great Depression. Unemployment, believe it or not, was 4 times what it is today in this country. More than 10,000 American banks had failed, and here in the greater New York, New Jersey area, 1 out of 4 children was suffering from malnourishment. The world, too, was a very dangerous place. In Germany, the Nazis had stormed into power, as had militant racist regimes in the governments of Japan and Italy and Spain. The Soviet dictator Stalin had executed millions of his own Russian citizens and was starving to death many millions more. What a world to grow up in. Think about that. And yet a generation of Americans took on that world. They wrestled with the economic hardships and were, in turn, hardened by them. They battled against their enemies' steel, and so, too, they were steeled. They won World War II. They won the Cold War after it, and they produced the most prosperous period in the history of America, indeed in the history of the entire world. We call them the greatest generation, and deservedly so, for they overcame adversity and they achieved the unimaginable. And they did all this is truly the extraordinary thing, they did all this without ever once asking anything in return. Now, many of you are here today with your parents, and I know your parents are immensely proud of you. But I, too, have my parents here with me today, and I'm immensely proud of them. Living here in New Jersey, they're representatives of that greatest generation. Where are you? Mom, Dad? Stand up, say hi. Can you see them over there? Here. You lived through that Great Depression. You knew what it was to struggle. Mom, you worked your way through college. You became a dedicated elementary school teacher here in the state. And then you went back to school to become a devoted family therapist. And Dad, you fought your way from Normandy Beach across France and Germany to help defeat the evils of Nazism. You served in the Korean War, too, and came home to become a healthcare leader in Newark, building bridges of understanding between the Jewish and African-American communities. Those bridges remain to this day. You bequeath to us, your children, a world of opportunities unthinkable in previous generations, a world for which we are profoundly grateful. In Israel, too, we had our greatest generation. This was a generation that survived the Holocaust. This is a generation that struggled to return to the land of Israel. the ancient homeland of the Jewish people, even if it meant walking across countless miles and crossing hostile borders. They drained the swamps and brought deserts back to life. And in the process, they created a vibrant culture, world-class universities, and a resilient democracy. And they fought wars. Oh boy, did they fight wars. Wars for their independence, wars for their defense, outmanned, outgunned, and often alone in the world without allies. They fought, and they won. But still, they refused to hate their enemies. And throughout their history, they held out their hands for peace. Today, Israel is a high-tech powerhouse. It's a world leader in science, in medicine, in conservation. We have a strong and proud citizens' army in which just about everybody serves. We have universal health care, free education starting at age 3, and tuition in college, get this, of around $3,000 a year. We have outstanding food. I love this. We export wine to France. I'm not kidding. And we have awesome rock music. But most vitally, we have an historic alliance with the United States, an alliance based on deep mutual spiritual bonds, a common democratic system and values, and shared strategic interests. And I say this without hesitation, the United States-Israel alliance is the deepest and most multifaceted alliance which this country, the United States, has had with any foreign country in the post-World War II period. True, peace still eludes us, and the threats we face can seem daunting. Yet we cannot overlook the immense blessings we enjoy or forget those who sacrifice so much so that we could enjoy them. Like you, young Israelis are graduating into a difficult world, a world of uncertainty, a world of turbulence. And if I were giving a commencement address at Tel Aviv University or at Hebrew University in Jerusalem, I'd confront the same challenge I'm facing today. So I will tell you exactly what I would tell young Israelis graduating. You are the ones who are going to have to tough it out. You will have to struggle, perhaps, and you will have to take responsibility. You will be asked to give a great deal while learning not to expect or even to ask much in return. But what you will receive may not merely fulfill your dreams, but exceed them. What you may create is a world that is a better one than that in which you graduated, a cleaner, more principled, and a more peaceful world. This is a time to make your mark, to forge your own historic legacy. Your future is yours to shape. If my parents, your grandparents' generation could overcome such obstacles and persevere against all odds, just think about what you can do. This is your destiny, class of 2012. To tackle the challenges, to develop the grit and the thick skin, and ultimately to prevail. You will do all of that. Monmouth University, class of 2012, you will do all that, and I assure you, you will be the greatest generation. Thank you.